So good afternoon. So this topic is like something that's not like not known to anyone. It's a very knowable topic. We see it every day. We experience it every day. But from the exam point of view, let me just go through and revise a couple of things that may arise as an important question. Okay. Now, so let's directly jump into the topics. So the first one is the mode of nutrition in plants and animals. So it could be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Now, we have something called as abiotic components and biotic components in our nature. So now what are abiotic components? So abiotic components are those non-living components. Basically all of the non-living things that you find around you or anywhere around you, they're all referred to as your non-living components or abiotic components. Basically they're non-living components referred to as abiotic components. Example, soil, air, water, which are essential for the existence of life. The next one is your biotic components. So what are biotic components? They are the living organisms of the environment. Example, plants, animals. So when we say animals, we also come under that. So plants, animals is the main kind of classification of the example that I could give for a biotic component. So basically you have two kinds of components, abiotic, biotic components. So the question could be like, what are abiotic and biotic components? Give example for each. Okay. Next, ecosystem. So what is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is a system where both biotic and abiotic components are existing together. That is called as an ecosystem. Now, okay, trophic levels. Now, what are trophic levels? Trophic levels, they refer to various levels in a food web as per the flow of energy. So what are trophic levels? They're basically different levels which tells us about the different level of food web as per the flow of energy. Now, in that you have producers, which is nothing but T1, primary consumers, okay, there is T2, I forgot to write it here, T2, and then you have secondary consumers, T3, and then you have tertiary consumers, T4, and then quaternary consumers, T5, and then you have something called as decomposers, okay. So again I'll repeat, so your trophic levels have all of these components, producers, which is T1, okay, and then primary consumers, they are herbivores, secondary, primary consumers, and then tertiary, secondary carnivores, quaternary, tertiary carnivores, and then last you have decomposers. So these are 5 components of a trophic level. Now, what is a pyramid trophic level? This is just a graphical representation of your trophic level. So what is pyramid trophic level? Pyramid trophic level is nothing but the graphical representation of your trophic level. So it can be pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. Now what do I mean by pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy? Now one more point to keep in your mind that all of these pyramids, either pyramid of numbers or biomass or energy, all of them start with producers. So producers is must and should, or it's the beginning for all of the pyramids. So we have 3 kind of pyramids, so let us just see what these are. Now when I say pyramid of numbers, it will give us the number of organisms at each trophic level. So what does pyramid of number give you? It will give you the number of organisms at each trophic level. Next, pyramid of biomass. It gives us the biomass of each level. So what is the amount of biomass of each level? That will that is given by the pyramid of biomass. Next you have pyramid of energy. This will tell you the flow of energy from one trophic level to the other trophic level, and this is always upright. What does upright mean? It is always from down to up. It's always upright. It obviously it should go from first level to second level, second to third, third to fourth. So that's why I'm saying it's always upright. That's why I mentioned it's always upright. So what is pyramid of energy? It's nothing but the flow of energy from one trophic level to the next trophic level. So this is your pyramid trophic level. That's what I explained, right? This is a pyramid trophic level where you have producers. As I told you, producers should always be at the beginning of a pyramid. So you have a producer, primary consumers, which are herbivores, and then secondary consumers and tertiary consumers, and you have something called as decomposers. I told you here, right? Decomposers, it's here, and then you have energy level. Now energy level, obviously when they leave out energy, it comes out as a heat. So this is something about your trophic level and pyramid trophic level. Law of conservation of energy. So law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be transferred from one body to another or changed from one form to another. So that is statement that could be possibly asked for 1 marker. Okay, next, food chain. So food chain is something that is must and should in your society or environment for the existence of life, and you will know why. Okay, now what is a food chain? Food chain is a series of organisms, each dependent on the next as a source of food. Now, food web. So food web is nothing but the representation of a food chain in the form of a web. So formed by the interconnection of different food chains. So now we have your water and sunlight, which are the basic source for the producers. Obviously, if you take grass as a producer, yeah, so obviously they need water and sunlight to grow. So I'm saying these producers depend on the sunlight and water to grow. Next, you have herbivores. Herbivores are basically those which are meat eaters, right? So they basically depend on the greens. So for example, if I would not consider as grasshopper, they obviously consume your producers. Like producers what? Grass. They consume grass and they act as the nutrients. Next, the herbivores, they are eaten or they are consumed by your omnivores. For example, rat. So they are called as the secondary consumers. And next, it continues like that. Next is the carnivores. Example, I've given a snake, which consume your secondary consumers or omnivores. And the last one is your quaternary carnivores, which example I've given as vulture, which consumes snake. Now this repeats. This cycle has to repeat in the environment or in the society for the existence of life. Why? Why is that? So now, assume. Let us take. Let us just assume herbivores not there, as in any of the herbivorous species are not there on the planet. So what is going to happen? The amount of producers, right? For example, I've given as grass. Just assume there are no herbivores on your planet, right? So what happens to the amount of producers? Obviously, it is going to increase so much that we won't have space for anything else. Now, assume there is no. Let us assume there are no snakes. Okay, there are absolutely no snakes on planet Earth. So what is going to happen? The population of rats. I'm not saying snakes are the only one which eat rat, but I'm saying it is also important, right? So what happens if assume the snake is not there? Obviously, the population of rats is going to increase so much. Obviously, they're going to destroy our crops, and obviously your life is disturbed. So what I mean to say by this is every food web or food chain here, everyone is dependent on each other, and the food chain has to happen so that the life can go smooth for human beings, as well as the existence of life also matters on the food chain. So that is the importance of food chain. So probably this is a 3-marker question. Explain food chain with an example or with a neat diagram. Okay, and they could also ask what is pyramid trophic levels. Explain pyramid of numbers, and with a picture or with a drawing you should actually draw a pyramid and explain what each level depicts. Okay, next, the last topic we have is something again which is very, very common, and we see that on everyday basis, and we are at a situation where it's an alarming situation for the entire world. We need to take steps in order to decrease or stop or prevent something called as pollution, right? So pollution is nothing but some kind of pollutants or hazardous substances or hazardous chemicals in your surroundings. So in particular, we have something called as the air pollution. So what is air pollution? The pollutants, organic molecules, or hazardous substance in the Earth's atmosphere is nothing but air pollution. So you have water pollution, you have soil pollution, but we are just focusing on air pollution. Okay. Now, air pollution are of 2 types. Again, they have natural and man-made. So natural pollution could also happen. Natural air pollution could also happen. That is by you have your volcanoes and forest fires, right? Now, what are volcanoes? Volcanoes erupt, and they leave out so much of gas that it covers the entire cloud, entire sky, causing a lot of pollution. Obviously, these have a lot of chemicals which are hazardous for the air. Okay. Next, what forest fires are, right? So it is also an example for a natural, means of air pollution. Man-made, so we don't have to even discuss about it. We have used cars, ACs. We have our industries. chemical industries, which emit out lot of chemicals in the air, which obviously causes air pollution, right? So because of this air pollution, a major consequence that we are facing these days is the ozone layer depletion. So what is ozone layer? So ozone layer is a layer, okay, present in the present in the Earth's surface, which protects us from the UV rays, emitted out by the sun. Now these UV rays are very, very harmful for our skin and also for the not only humans, in fact, even for animals and even plants. So basically, this ozone layer protects us from the UV rays emitted out by the sun. But due to the increase in air pollution over 50 decades or 100 decades, recently there has been a hole in the ozone layer. I mean, it's a fact that I'm telling you, which is not in your syllabus. But yeah, so there is a hole in the ozone layer which is causing melting of ice, and a lot of skin problems are happening. Obviously, because UV rays are not at all good for our skin. They cause skin cancer and other diseases. So ozone layer depletion is one of the very, very important causes of the air pollution, which we have to. It's now or never. Otherwise, imagine the entire ozone layer depletes, and obviously the life is not possible on planet Earth. Right? Next. The other causes of this is also you have your CFCs. What is CFC? CFC stands for chlorofluorocarbons. Okay. Chlorofluorocarbons. Okay. So this is a very, very hazardous chemical. You have these fridge, right? All of these fridge ACs, they all release the CFCs, which are the most harmful chemicals that cause the depletion in the layer. So air pollution along with CFCs are causing the ozone layer depletion. So we need to really think about it and how to avoid air pollution, so that we can make life possible or happen for at least next 10,000 to 15,000 years, because scientists say life is it's going to be very difficult for the existence of life at the rate at which the air pollution and the other kind of pollution is happening. Yeah. Next, we have something called as the biodegradable waste. Yeah. Waste is something that is thrown, which is not useful for us, right? Now, what is biodegradable waste? Biodegradable waste are those which can be decomposed by soil or by other natural agents like water, weather, soil, etc. So you also have something called as non-biodegradable, which cannot be decomposed by your soil or other natural agents. So best example for biodegradable waste could be all of your vegetable waste. So you peel your vegetables, right? So all of those become your biodegradable waste, which means what? You take those peels of fruits and vegetables, instead of throwing it to garbage, you can just make a layer with the soil, and probably after a month or after 2 months, you can see the entire waste or the peels or whatever you've taken, they would have been decomposed by the soil, which means what? They are called as a biodegradable. Suppose you take your plastic is a very classic example for your non-biodegradable waste. Obviously, they are not decomposed by soil or any other means. I mean, they do decompose, but they take hundreds to 50 years, which obviously we refer to as non-biodegradable waste. So they are the ones which cannot be decomposed by your soil or by any other natural agents. So the crucial or the important questions, this lesson is just very scoreable, because this is all the current status that is happening in and around the globe. So I think should just focus little on what pollution is and what causes depletion. So it could be a one marker. What causes depletion layer? So CFC, you can write that. And then what are biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste? Give an example for each. And then explain food web with a neat diagram, they could ask. And what is law of conservation of energy? Again, a one marker question. And as I told, they would ask you to draw the pyramid and show what each layer tells you about. And what are biotic and abiotic components? Give an example for each. Yeah.